Hello, everybody. Hope you guys can see and hear me okay. This is an unusual embroidery happy hour. I am not in my usual location. I am actually in Columbus, Georgia right now, visiting some family. I decided I'm going to pre record this embroidery happy hour because I have a feeling that I am going to be on the road returning, and I'm probably not going to make it home by 8 o'clock. I tried to see how long it was going to take me to travel from Virginia all the way to Columbus, Ohio. It took me a little longer than I thought. I did run into a little bit of bad weather, but I just don't want to chance it, especially since last week I ended up in a storm, and rightfully so. Quality was just not good. I did the best I could to try to share the information. I am actually going to redo that embroidery happy hour to talk about some Christmas items that we can make. And this time, I'll be able to do it at home, and I will go ahead and show you some examples of some items that you can do. So for this Friday, the topic that I wanted to talk to you guys about is getting hustled by customers. Okay. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I know some folks, do embroidery as gifts for people, but other folks actually do it for a business. And when you're doing it for a business, there's a lot of things that you have to take in consideration. Okay. And you don't want to, you know, do a business and then you're creating all this stuff and you're making all this stuff and you're selling it and everything, and then when you look at your books, you end up finding out that you made nothing. Okay, you actually ended up spending more than you actually made, and you didn't profit anything. And that's not a really good feeling at the end of the year when you look at your books and you see that that was your bottom line. And then you really have to start asking yourself, what did you do wrong? Sometimes it is things that you actually did wrong in your business. And sometimes you also have to consider this as well. Okay. For those of you guys that are just starting out, all right. When you're running a business, usually the first couple of years, you're probably going to see a loss. And the reason why you're going to see a loss is because your first year, you are buying a lot of supplies. Okay. Embroidery machines are very, very costly, whether you're using a single needle machine or you're using a multi needle machine. They run into the thousands. Okay. These are not cheap machines at all. And then to even think about it further, you're not just talking about the cost of your machines, you're also talking about the cost of the other items that you have to buy. Okay. You're talking about all the threads, you're talking about all the stabilizers. Think about your marketing material, how you advertise your business, your time. There's a lot that goes into actually starting out. Now, as time goes on, okay, and you already paid off your machines, and you already have like a good inventory of supplies, you will start to see a profit merge. And usually that happens around the 3 or 4 year mark. That's something that, my accountant advised me when I first started, because I was kind of like, oh, I'm not making any money. And he's like, no, you're making money. It's just that a lot of your money that you're making gets reinvested in the business. And that's usually what happens in the very beginning. A lot of times when you make some money, you end up taking that money that you made so that you can buy additional stabilizers, so that you can buy bobbins, so you can buy threads, buy blanks, advertise, and all that good stuff, right? But the other side of running a business is when you're dealing with your customers, which is what I wanted to talk to you guys about this Friday. Okay. I have been doing my embroidery business for quite some time now, for several years, and I have come across really great customers that I love working with, that I enjoy making items for and stuff like that. But then I have bumped into a few where I was like, "Oh, wow. This is interesting." And oh, well, this is a lesson learned for me, okay? So, you're going to have your good and your bad no matter what you do, right? And no matter what in life, right? That's just part of life, right? And when you run a business, it's the same. Okay. You're going to have your great customers, and then you're going to have those that you wish they would just go somewhere else. But this is really the bottom line. And this is one thing that I do tell people. Okay. And I even, I do it myself. Okay. Not every order that you get, you have to take. Okay. You do, as a business owner, have the right to refuse a job. If you just don't want to do it, just say, I don't feel comfortable doing it, or I don't have the time, and that's it. And don't take it. Okay. Um, not everything is worth it. This is the thing for me, okay? I love doing embroidery. It really is. It's something that I'm solely passionate about. I enjoy it. I love being in the room. I love creating items. I like watching that needle go up and down. It's something that I'm really passionate about. And it's something that I want to continue to feel passionate about, and something that I continually want to enjoy. The last thing I want is to allow someone to come in and take that from me. It's just not going to happen. I'm like, no. Okay. Um, Not every order is worth taking. But I do want to run down some of the items that you need to be concerned about, okay, when you are working on your business doing embroidery. All right. So I have, let me see what I have. I have one, two, three. I got 4 items that I'm going to be talking to you guys about this hour. Now, the first one is a big one. I get this question all the time. I see this all over Facebook. I see this all the time, all the time, all the time. And you guys know this is, and we're gonna talk about this in quite some length, okay? Because I have my notes right here in front of me on my iPad, my trusty iPad, and I am going to break it down, okay? So we're gonna be talking about this one for quite some time. And then I have 3 others that I'm gonna touch on a little bit, okay? Pricing, okay? Now I'm just gonna say upfront, times are a little rough right now. Okay, everything's going up, but people's checks. That's what I say. Taxes are going up. The prices of items are going up. You go to the gas station, you're filling up with gas. That's going up. Electricity's go. Everything. Clothes, things that you used to pay a small amount of money for has probably close to probably maybe doubled. Food, rent. I hear it on the news all the time. Rent's going up like crazy. Everything's going up. Okay. Because everything is going up, it doesn't make us, okay, as people that embroider, any easier. Okay. It doesn't make it easier for us, because guess what? As the prices of items are going up, so are the prices of the thread that we use, the stabilizer that we use. If you're looking to buy an embroidery machine right now, I'm sure if you compare the prices to these machines to what they were probably 3 years ago or 2 years ago, they went up quite a bit. Okay. Um, Everything's going up. Everything is going up. All right. So because everything has gone up, including the cost of threads, stabilizers, and stuff like that, guess what? Your prices are going to have to go up too. Okay. So the prices that you were charging 2 or 3 years ago for embroidery, they're going to have to raise as well. All right. Now, and you guys probably heard this saying for quite some time. Everybody always wants something for nothing. And it's always going to be that way. Okay. Hey, I want something for nothing. Everybody wants it. I mean, everybody. Who wouldn't? Okay. But with that being said, and knowing that, you're going to have to really look at how you price your embroidery. And you're really going to have to say, all right, with everything that's going on, what is going to be a reasonably and fair price that I can charge my customers? Also, at the end of the day, as you are pricing your items, this is something you need to keep in mind. You're running an embroidery business. It's a business. Okay, it's a business. All right. This isn't a giveaway. Giveaway is something else. Giveaway means you're going to take something and you're giving it away. Nothing is coming back to you. Okay. When you're running a business, you are actually doing something. You are providing a product or a service so that you can get compensation. And usually the compensation comes in the form of money. Okay. So knowing that, okay, reason why I'm emphasizing this is because this is the bottom line. And I'm just going to be straight up honest. Okay. You don't run a business for free. Okay. That's not business. All right. So you're not making stuff for free. All right. If you are making stuff, you're generating products and you're providing your skill set and you're not seeing money coming in, then you're not running a business. You are running some kind of charity or something, or you're just doing a hobby and you're just giving stuff away. That is really what you're doing. Okay. So I want to talk to you guys about when we are pricing our items, some of the things that we really need to really start to look at and consider when we are thinking about how we're pricing these items that we are producing and selling. Okay. So embroidery is a complex decorative method that requires a great skill set. All right. A lot of people have the perception that when it comes to embroidery, all you do is you take something, you put it between these two hoops, you straighten out the material, you stick it in a machine, and you press a button, and it's done. That is the perception that the customers usually have, okay? Because they don't do this. They don't know how to do embroidery. So usually when they see something regarding embroidery, they usually see like the machine running, right? They see a machine running and all these needles going up and down. But the thing is, it is a skill set. Okay, anyone can get a machine, anybody can press a button. But in order for the end product to be of good quality at the end of the day, you have to have a skill set. Now, what does you mean, Jeanette? I mean, you really got to know what the heck you're doing. That's what I mean. You really have to know a lot about what stabilizers are, what types of different stabilizers, what to use, when to use it. You need to know your threads, the different types of threads that are out there. There's rayon, there's polyester, there's different brands, okay? There are some cheap threads out there. They're, pretty economical. And then you got some threads that are expensive. You have threads that have different textures. You have a whole bunch of different colors. Okay. You got to know what you're doing. That's really the bottom line. Okay. And usually people that do good quality embroidery have been embroidering for quite some time, and they know what thread to use, when to use it. They know about their machines, the insides and outs, the different capabilities and functions that the machines that they have use. Okay, they know whether they should use a snowman or they should scan it, whether they need a laser pointer, maybe they need different types of topping. It's a skill set. That's really just the bottom line. Okay. A lot of times people that are beginning to learn embroidery, they kind of start to get it, but the more you practice it and the more you do it, the better quality your embroidery is going to be. So the thing is, for people that run it as a business, they usually have been embroidering for a couple of years now. They really are good at what they do, okay? And they understand the process and everything. So, I don't want people to think that this is something that should be diminished in any kind of way, okay? It is a skill. It really is. And a lot of people, sometimes they don't think it is, but no, it is, okay? So let's talk about the things that you need to consider with the prices, okay? Now, knowing up front that embroidery is a complex decorative type of skill set that the person has to have. Not only with the skill set, you got to have the proper machinery and all that kind of stuff. There are other things that you have to consider when you're thinking about how you're going to price your items. All right. Now, the first thing I have on my notes here is the machine speeds. All right. Depending on how fast your machines are and also how many machines you have, that kind of helps determine how much products you can produce by a certain time limit. However, though, not everything should be run at a fast speed. And a lot of times, a lot of people think, oh, my machine does 1,500 stitches per minute. My machine does 1,000 stitches per minute. I mean, this is how fast it's going to go. Well, okay, that's great. All right. However, though, not everything that you embroider should be run at a top speed. Okay. And that is where a lot of times people kind of mess up in some of their embroidery, but they also mess up in their pricing as well. The reason why I say that is because if you are embroidering something that requires a slow speed, that item is going to be under the machine's needle for longer than if you were to do it in top speed. And sometimes when you run something at a low speed, sometimes you have to babysit it a little bit more. I'll give you a perfect example of that. Let's see. I have two, as a matter of fact. Let's say you're doing small fonts. Small fonts is not something that I recommend running at a very high speed. I always slow down my machine for that. And not only that, you also have to use a special weight thread for small fonts as well. I use a 60 weight. And you also have to have a different size needle, which I use a 65/9. So after I have my 60 weight thread on the machine with a 65 needle, I always lower my machine to sometimes 600 stitches per minute. I try to make it as slow as possible because I want the stitches to really come out crisp and clear, especially when it comes to small fonts. Now, knowing that, that means that the item is going to be under the machine for quite some time. So that means that if I have like 20 shirts, if I take those 20 shirts and I am embroidering it under the machine, that means that it's probably going to take me, a lot longer to embroider than if I was to take those 20 shirts and put it under the machine and I'm stitching 1,000 stitches per minute, right? So make sure that when you are thinking about, taking an order, that you are looking at that design and you are incorporating whether you're going to be able to stitch that design out on top speed or you're going to have to slow down that machine. Okay. And you also got to remember too that sometimes you're going to have some designs that if you run them on a full speed, you could end up having a lot of thread breakage. Okay. Now, thread breakage will usually happen, and this was the second example. The first one that I gave you was the small fonts. The second example is when you're using metallic thread. A lot of people love metallic thread. I mean, it is a gorgeous thread. Okay. They come in different colors. A lot of them, the most popular is usually the silver and the gold. However, though, that thread is not like polyester and rayon. Okay. It's very delicate. So you would use a metallic needle and you would also slow that machine down. And you slow it down a lot. Okay. I usually stitch that at 500 stitches per minute. I'll try to go up to 600, but usually it's 5. Okay. And metallic thread is something that if you run it at full speed, it's going to break. You're going to break your thread and it's not going to come out right. It can really, if you have a lot of thread breakage in your design while you're doing it, it can really mess up the quality of how that design is going to stitch out. Okay. So be very conscientious of that. All right. So, you want to make sure that you take that into account when you're looking at your pricing. Okay. Think about your machine speed and how you're going to, when you are trying to determine the price of how a particular order you're going to do. Okay. The other thing also is the color count. Now, sometimes, not everyone incorporates some of these items that I'm going to list in their pricing, but some people do, some people don't. But it's just something that I just wanted to share. Okay. So let's see. Okay, number one, I got machine speeds. Number two, the color count. Okay. Now, the reason why some people will incorporate color count in their pricing is for two reasons. Okay. Sometimes you have a single needle machine. And if you have a single needle machine, what'll happen is that means that the machine stops and you have to change the color thread every color, right? You have to change the spool on the machine for every color. The other reason that people will incorporate a color change in their price is if they have to go out and buy the particular color that the customer wants. Okay, because you got to remember for each color there is a spool that had to be purchased. Okay, so sometimes people will put color counts or color changes is another term that they use in their pricing. So you want to think about that as well. Okay. Another thing also is the cost of the material that they're using whenever they are doing a project. For instance, if you are using a blanket, sometimes what will happen is depending, like, let me see, when I've done blankets, sometimes I have done them where they've been a lot of fuzz, right? If there is a lot of fuzz, I have usually recommend to the customer, if the font that they want to use is not a thick font, I always say it's really better to add knockdown stitches to the name, right? If they want to put the name on a blanket and then the font that they're using is thin and they needs it to be, and it's a lot of fuzz, what you want to do is not only do you want to add the topper, but you also want to add some knockdown stitches because you don't want that fuzz to pop up after a wash and stuff like that. So if I have to add knockdown stitches, usually I do have a standard price to add that you know, to the design. Usually I'll come out and say, okay, for a name to be placed on a blanket, and usually the blanket is provided by the customer. I don't go ahead and buy all these blankets unless those are the blankets that I sell on Etsy. Or the, blankets, that I sell personalized on Etsy. I do have customers that sometimes come to me with their own blankets and they want me to embroider their blankets, and I'm fine with that. Usually what I'll do is I'll come and say, okay, to add this name, this is how much it costs. However, though, if I see that the blanket has a lot of plush, like I was saying before, I'm going to add some knockdown stitches. So I will come out and I'll give that as a choice to the customer. But when I give it to them as a choice, I let them know, if you don't select the knockdown stitches, be aware that as you use the item or wash the item, because of the font that you selected is thin, it can start to pop up and it can end up going over the embroidery. So, and this is the other thing too. Sometimes customers are not aware of these things, right? So your job as an embroiderer is to educate them and give them the different choices, so that way they can make the right choice for the garment that they want embroidered. And a lot of times when I explain to them what could happen, and I tell them, for me to add the knockdown stitches, it would cost this much extra. Now, also, to let them know why it would cost this much extra, I let them know that I am adding a higher stitch count to that design. It's not just using the thread for the name. I have to now use thread to create that knockdown layer for the name to be embroidered on top. So, those are extra. Okay. So the other thing also is, think about your stabilizer. All right. Do you have to use topper as well? Okay. Do you have to double up on your stabilizer? Are you using the cutaway, using the tearaway? What if you have to add no show mesh? Also think about if you're doing baby clothes and you have to iron on tender touch. Okay. Those are items that cost money. Okay. You spent your money as an embroiderer to purchase these items. Okay. you have to make sure you incorporate the cost of these items when you are pricing your items. If not, if you're just saying, oh, I'm just going to charge you $5 for the name, well, you really kind of gave away that embroidery, because the thing is, when you went to embroider, you first of all used up a lot of thread for the name. Okay. You had a machine that you used the electricity. You also had to stabilize that. You probably had to use a topper, and you hooped it. There's a lot of things that went into it, and then you only charge $5. So to be honest, I'm like, you didn't make money off of that. Okay, so it's just something that you have to think about. Another thing also is premium quality embroidery. Okay, there's a difference, okay, between regular embroidery and premium quality embroidery. Premium, okay, let's talk about regular embroidery. Regular embroidery is when you just take the machine and you use thread that is very economical. Okay, like I have my sim thread brother threads. They're, they cost money, but they're they're on the economical side. Okay, polyester thread, economical, and I just go ahead and I just embroider it. So let's say I have a customer that comes to me and says, hey, I want metallic thread, or hey, I want that real shiny thread. Okay, or hey, I want a design that has like edges on it, or like a patch edge or something like that, right? Or I want a design that has mixed types of different types of thread. Okay, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about premium quality design. Okay, I'm not talking about a simple thing where you just take it and put it in the machine. You're just using one color thread. You could use your cheap thread, it's fine. What's not really cheap thread, but just a regular thread and it's fine. I'm talking about embroidery that people want done, that is very detailed in work, or requires special types of threads or needles and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about premium embroidery work. You got to make sure you charge right for that. Okay. You got to make sure you charge right for that. Just something I need to put out there, because I do notice that sometimes people will create certain things, and I don't feel they're charging properly for it, because I know, because I do this, this is a business that I run. I know how much work it takes to make some of these things, right? Like Mylar, right? Mylar embroidery, that's expensive. That is not cheap. That's not cheap, okay? And stuff. And then you go ahead and you're going to turn around and sell it for like $10. Are you crazy? I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. It's like, what did you do? Okay, so I'm just saying. All right. Okay, the other thing, your time. A lot of people forget put their time in there. Make sure you put that in there. Okay, it's a skill set. Your time is precious. Okay, make sure you get paid for it. And then digitizing. You got to pay for the digitizer. Okay, digitizers don't digitize for free. All right, so when you send a design over to get it digitized, you got to pay them. Make sure that that's coming out of the customer's pocket, not just, not yours. Let's say you digitize, you embroider, and you're one of those lucky few that not only embroiders, but digitizes as well. Well, just like that digitizer got paid, okay, you got to make sure you pay yourself for digitizing that file. Make sure you put that in there, okay? The other thing, hooping. Some people, do, charge for hooping, and a markup fee. Sometimes people will charge a fee just to be able to sit down and create a design with a customer. So a lot of times what happens is, these are just costs that you need to incorporate in your price when you go to give the quote to the customer as to how much you're going to charge for the job that they're asking for. A lot of times, people have their own method. Okay, there's a lot of different types of structures that you can use on how to embroider, how to price embroidery, right? Some people like to do it by the thousands of stitches, right? They say, I charge $1.50 per thousand or whatever, right? You can do that if you want. I mean, the bottom line is at the end of the day that you are profiting. Okay. Now, you are not selling yourself short. That is really the bottom part, the bottom line. Okay. And this other thing too is you got to remember that embroidery is custom work. It is all custom work. Everything is custom. Even when you're doing the names, it's custom. Okay. Some names, like Sam has 3 letters, Jeanette has 8. Okay. So, everything is custom. All right. So a lot of times people think that, oh, I'm just going to give a flat out charge for this. Make sure that when you do that, if you use that type of price structure, that when you do that flat charge for a particular type of embroidery, okay, that you're actually profiting from it. Just make sure of that. Okay. Now, what are the issues that you're going to have? Because remember, we're talking about how, customers, and we want to make sure we're not letting customers get over on you. Okay. Now that we talked a little bit about the pricing, let's talk a little bit about how the type of issues you're going to have with customers regarding the pricing. Okay, because I have some of the stuff in here. Okay, and I want you guys to really think about it. What are the issues that you have when you're dealing with them? Okay, number one, which is pretty big, debating the prices. You need to consider what's going to happen if you allow, okay, and I'm saying you allow it, okay, you are allowing it, because remember, and the reason why I'm saying you are allowing it is because this is your business. It's yours, your business, not theirs, yours. So let's say I come out and somebody gave me something and they're like, oh, I want you to do, because this actually happened. This, I need you to embroider 100 shirts. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then they give me this design and I'm thinking, okay, I have to digitize it. I have to have it digitized. I have to put it in the machine 100 times or whatever. And it is a repeat design. So it's not bad. So it's not like I have to like change threads or anything like that, but once I have the machine set, they're set. Okay. But I have to run it 100 times. I got to make sure I have plenty of thread. It is a kind of a complex design. It has color changes in there and stuff like that. And it is fine. Okay. The letters were small. So I'm going to have to slow down the machine. It's not going to be, like a quick in and out thing. Right. So I came out and I said, all right. So I gave them a price. Right. And then they came out and they said, oh, well, I can get that done somewhere else for like half that price. Well, my response was, oh my God, that's so awesome. Well, then good luck with that, good luck with that, but this is my price, period. Okay. Now, you're going to have people out there that are going to try to debate your prices. They're going to do it. You're going to say it's going to be 20. They'll say, I'll give you 15. My response is, oh no, it's 20. It's 20. This is my price, 20. I don't haggle. I won't haggle, won't do it. I don't engage in it. No, I don't do it. First of all, when you go to, and let me tell you this way, okay? When you go, and I don't know if you go to buy, let's say you go buy a Coach bag, okay, or a Louis Vuitton bag or a Gucci bag. You walk in there and stuff. You look at a bag and you go, oh, that's a beautiful bag. I'm like, I really like that bag. How much is the bag? $3,000 for that bag. Okay, I'll give you $1,000. You really think they haggling with you? No, they're not. They're not haggling. They take that bag and they put it right back on the shelf. And they probably won't even look at you, and they'll just go look to the next customer and they'll just go, next. That's what they'll do. Okay. Because the thing is, and this is how I see it. Okay. I do top-notch quality work. Okay. I am very confident in what I do. Very, very confident. The work that I do will always be top-notch. Nothing comes out of my shop that is not top-notch. I work very hard. Okay. I know what is fair and reasonable. I also know that times are rough out there, and I got that. Okay. But just like it's rough for them, it's rough for me too. Okay. Just like the prices went up for them, prices went up for me too. All right. So it's about being fair and reasonable. All right. So you have to do that. Now, what happens? What are some of the things that you really need to think about? Let's say somebody came to you and they wanted you to embroider a name on a towel. Okay. And you say, all right, it's $20. And they say, oh, I want to pay 15. And then you go, okay, I'll do it for 15. All right. So you just did that. You just devalued yourself. Honestly, that is really what you did. Okay. You may not see it that way, but you did. Okay. You devalued your work and you just devalued your time. Because you know what? They save $5. But let's think about what you saved. What did you save? What did you save? You saved nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because guess what? You still are doing the exact same thing. Okay? When you were charging those $20, you're still using the same stabilizer. Your stitch count didn't go down. You're still using that thread. You still got to turn on that machine. You still have to stitch that machine. Your time is the same, right? So who is the winner in that situation? It ain't you. You lost $5. They gained $5. And they got the product that they wanted in the end. So you just devalued yourself and you devalued your work. This is another thing that you're going to come up with now. Okay? And these are two things that you're going to, because right then and there, you may not think, you might think, oh, well, I just lost $5. They gained $5 and got their stuff. But you know what? You lost more than $5. I want you to think long term. What you just did was you told that customer that you, in the future, for future orders, they can debate any price you give them. That's what you just did. You opened that gate door, okay? And you also let that customer know that you are fine with debating your prices. So now what's going to happen is that customer is going to walk around with this great work that you did, and they're going to tell other people. You can go to her. Oh, talk her down. Talk her down. She's good with that. Don't worry about it. Just talk her down. Just talk her way down, and then meet in the middle. You'll do that. And then don't be surprised if the second customer that you get came from that person, him or her, and they're going to start debating your prices. I'll tell you right now, you might as well just shut your doors, because you had just set up your business for failure just then and there. You don't see other businesses debate their prices like that. Why should you? Be confident in yourself. Be confident in your work. You know you do good work. You know it's quality work. There is no reason why you should not be getting paid what you know you deserve. Don't do that. Do not let customers talk down your prices. You are doing yourself and your business a disservice. I am telling you, that is like the biggest thing. Okay. If you get anything out of this whole happy hour, get that. I am serious. I am serious. Okay. You have no idea. I will not debate. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times those customers, okay, which I've only had 2, okay, they have come out and say, oh, well, I wanted to pay this much. I say absolutely not. Never heard from them again. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to. I don't want to. Why would I want that? Why would I? No, I already no. No, 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 no. And they won't come to me. You know why? Because they know she's not a sucker. She's not a sucker. I'm not. I won't be. No. No. I'd rather keep my machine turned off. Okay. I'll turn it on and I'll create stuff for gifts for my friends that appreciate and value me. No. No. Especially for a stranger I don't know. No. 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 Don't do it. You're going to regret it because this is the biggest thing of all. Okay. Is how you are going to feel about yourself after all this. That is what's really going to suck. That is really going to suck. How you actually feel about yourself, knowing that you got taken like that. Because really, you got taken. You got hustled. You got hustled. Okay? All right? So, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? And stuff. All right. Now that I got the pricing out of the way, which took like 40 minutes to talk about, okay? Because that to me is the biggest one. It really is. I'm going to talk to you guys about the other ones, okay? The other ways that, you issues that you may come across, you got to learn how, you have to really start thinking about when they do happen, how are you going to handle it? You got to be firm, okay? Now let's talk about the second one. Timing, okay? Now everybody's busy, all right? And everybody wants things done like yesterday. And you're going to have customers that are going to come to you with what's called the rush order, right? You already have orders in line from customers that came in, and you've already given, for me, I've given already, I'll let a customer know the time frame of when I can have something done, okay? So when I have a customer that approaches me with a rush order, one or two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to take it or I'm going to refuse it. Okay. Now, if I take it and let's say I don't have orders at the time, then it's not a problem. Just give me the order. I'm good. Don't worry about it. What do you need? And I'll tell them the price and there's no issues. However, though, let's say you catch me at a really bad time, which is usually around the holidays. Okay. Is when I have multiple orders. At that time, what you are asking is, can I skip the line? Well, you can skip the line, but it's going to cost you to skip the line. You're not skipping no line for free, okay? Because all these other customers already have an expectation. They know when they want to get their items, okay? So I do one or two things. If I'm real busy, right? And I know that I could squeeze that order in because that order is not going to affect, and notice how I say it's not going to affect the existing orders that I have, because remember, you got to respect your customers, okay? When you have a customer and they're next and they're expecting an item by a certain time frame, then I go and I allow somebody to skip the line, and then I have to tell that customer your stuff is going to be late. That to me is not right. So I will not take an order at that. Okay. If I see that it's going to affect a customer's order that I have right now, I'm not taking that rush order, because this is the thing. I'm not going to go to that other customer who gave me plenty of notice. It's not a rush order or anything like that, but I already committed to them and I already told them that I'm going to have that order done by Monday. So if you come to me on Sunday and I can't do it at the same time and meet that deadline for my Monday customer, I'm not taking your order. However, though, if I can do it, all right, and still finish the other orders on time and squeeze you in, it's going to cost you, because the thing is, you're putting more stress on me. And the thing is, I have to work extra hard because I have to make sure that not only can I meet my other customers' expectations, but yours as well. So that's going to cost. All right. So make sure that, you be careful with the timing. All right. So I have in my notes, you got to make sure that you can fit the order within the current work schedule that you have. All right. Don't think of the current orders that you have. Don't forget about your current orders. All right. And you got to make sure that you charge a fee for cutting that line. Okay. You want to cut the line? Well, if the rush order, I charge an additional $20 for rush orders or $40 for rush orders, whatever it is. You let them know up front. If you have a rush order and I can fit you in, it's this much extra. And that's it. Okay. And this is the other thing too about rush orders that a lot of people don't, because I have this as my number 3 in my notes here. Be careful when you accept the rush orders. Okay. And the reason why I say to be careful about it is because when you are rushing, okay, remember how we talked about, the speed of machines? Sometimes you have to know when to slow down your machine and when, and sometimes there's special things you have to use for embroidery, like metallic thread and all that kind of stuff and everything like that. When you take rush orders, you got to remember that even though it's something you have to get done quickly, at the end of the day, when it leaves your shop, it has to be a top-notch quality item. Don't let rush orders mess up the quality of the items that are coming out of your shop, because that one item that did not meet to par, okay, can really mess you up royally. I'm telling you, it's that one item. So when you are accepting rush orders, make sure that it's a rush order that you can take and you can produce like you normally would. Okay. That you can, it's gonna look top notch. Make sure of that, please, because that can mess you up. It can mess up your reputation, that one item. Okay. So that is something that you want to make sure that you have. Okay. Now, like I said, customers can get very, very pushy, and you got to remember also that sometimes customers, we all have issues, right? We all have busy schedules and sometimes we forget and all that kind of stuff and everything. But the thing is, you gotta make sure that, you don't allow a customer to just be pushy and say, take my order. If you can't do it and it's not going to be of good quality, especially if it's not going to be of good quality, and especially if that it can put you in a predicament with another customer, okay, deny the order. Just deny it. Okay. Remember, this is your business. You decide what orders to take and what orders not to take. Okay. You have to do what's right for you and your business. And this is something that you enjoy. So the last thing you want to do is to create an environment or a time where it is not even enjoyable for you. Okay. So remember that. Okay. So just something to think about and something to really digest. Okay. Now, here is the other item that I have down here. Okay. We're down to the last 2. Okay. Requirements and expectations. Customers have requirements and expectations, and so do you. Okay. What are the customers? The customers' requirements and expectations is usually they want a quality item at a fair and reasonable price. You want to be able to produce a quality item and get a fair and reasonable profit from it. All right. Now, in order to make sure that this works, to make sure that the customer's requirements and expectations are met, as well as your requirements and expectations, you got to make sure you have a meeting of the minds, which means that you have to have a full understanding of what it is that the customer is asking for you to do and how much you're going to charge them. Also, you have to have a final decision. Now, this is something that I have run into in the past, and this is usually how I handle it. Okay. When I make, when I'm sitting down with the customer and we are, I'm gathering the requirements, I'm looking to see what it is that they want embroidered, how they want it embroidered, and all that kind of stuff and everything. At the end, I come on, I say, okay, is this what you finally want? You don't want to add any other changes, right? Okay, fine. Do know that if you make any type of changes later, it changes the price of the item. And I also charge a modification fee. That's how I do it. That's how I do it. Okay. Now, I also will come out and say, okay, this is the final product. I'm not making any changes after this. Okay. Sometimes you will have a customer that'll come out and say, you know what, I thought I wanted that, and now I want to change my mind. Or after you embroidered everything, they come out and go, you know what, I don't like it now, I like it like this, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just not mm. It depends on how you want to do things, but to me personally, I finalize everything before that machine goes on. I always do. I always finalize it. I always do. A lot of times I'll sometimes come on and say, you can change it if you want, but it's going to cost this much to change it. And you got to remember too, sometimes people get a little sneaky, because it's like, they know that, you already set a price. And when you set that price, you've taken consideration stitch count, you've taken into consideration the supplies and all that kind of stuff and everything. Let's say that after the after you made all the stuff, all of a sudden they want to make a change or something like that. It's like, guess what? You increased my stitch count now. Now I have to use more stabilizer, stuff like that. That's why it's like, no. So make sure that you document it. Usually what I do is I use my invoice, and in my invoice is where I actually write down, this is what the customer wants. And I write down everything that's going to be used and all that kind of stuff. And then I say, please read, I even tell people, before you send me payment, make sure that you understand exactly what's going to happen. And I'm not changing anything after that, because if you want change, then the price changes. And you know what? I don't turn the machine on until everything is finalized. The machine doesn't go on. That's it. It just does not go on. And I know I'm sounding like, damn, man, she must be hard to work. No, it's not that. It's just that you have to be very direct, and you have to, you're running a business. You're running a business. You don't allow other people to run the business for you. You don't. If you do that, believe me, you're going to go broke. You're going to go broke, because they're just going to take. They're not giving. They're just going to take. Okay, so you're the one that has to make sure that it maintains a relationship where both parties are getting what they want, including you. Nobody's going to take care of you the way you take care of you. I'm telling you. All right, so requirements, expectations, some customers, boy, they'll try to finagle and whatever and change things up and everything. Be very, very firm. Be very, very firm, and so like that. Just you got to be direct. The last one. Let's talk about the money. Let's talk about the money. I did a video, I think about a year and a half ago, about somebody that was an embroiderer, and they were really, really upset because one of the things that they did was they accepted half a payment for a order. And after they did the complete order and everything, when the customer came out and said, oh, I thought the half a payment was the actual payment. And the customer didn't pay the other half. And the embroiderer was very, very rightfully, because it was a lot of work, upset. Okay. Think about how you collect your payments. I'm telling you, I did also a video where I myself made a mistake. Okay. And it wasn't the person's fault. I mean, because I got my money at the end. But I worked with a medical office, and I was doing their stuff, and I was excited because I got the order and stuff like that, and I did all the work and everything. And then when it came time to getting payment, I felt like I was getting a runaround, right? because the person that was acting as the agent all of a sudden kind of like said, oh, I'm not part of this process anymore, whatever. You have to talk directly to the doctor or whatever, right? And the doctor he paid me and stuff. But, I was like, I just, it gave me a bad feeling because I was like, I did all this work and am I going to get paid? You know? And, it all worked out well for me, but what if it didn't? What if it didn't? I would have ended up in small claims court. Okay? Because you know me. I would have been like, oh, time for me to go to court. Because I was gonna get my money. So but it all worked out. It all worked out and stuff. It was, it was fine. But I didn't, it was stress that I put on myself because I I used to, it was the one time that I said, oh, I'm going to alleviate from my payment process. And I should not have done that at all. And and ever since then, I've never done it. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. I have a process in place. Some people say, oh, just collect half and up front and then collect the rest later. Me personally, this is how I do it. And I'm just going to be real upfront with you guys. When you guys order something online, okay, let's say, even on Etsy, let's say you go on Etsy and you order something and you want it personalized. You know what you do when you place that order? You pay in full, not half, full. Full payment. Then you get your item. My recommendation for all you guys, really honestly, I would do that. If something happens, then you could go ahead and provide the refund or the partial refund or whatever to try to settle whatever differences at the end. But that machine should never go unless you have that money in your hand. Full, 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 all of it, everything, what you are charging in full. Okay, that's really what it is. People will do that, and the thing is too is I've had people even tell me, oh, or drop off items that they want me to embroider, and then they'll say, oh, I'll give you the money when I come to pick it up. I don't work that way. And I tell them up front. I go, I'm sorry, I that's not how I work. That's not how I work. Or, oh, I want to pay in cash. I need a record. I need a record of payment. Okay, because I have to invoice and I have to charge sales tax and I have to pay the state of Virginia sales tax on all my orders. Okay, so I need that paper trail. So seriously, think about how you are going to be collecting your payments. Okay, I use QuickBooks, and I have people pay me through Vino and Zelle. I haven't, if they need to pay by credit card, then I'll create the listing on Etsy, and then I don't have to worry too much about paying the state of Virginia for that listing because Etsy will pay my sales tax for me on the things that I sell on Etsy. The things that I sell locally, I create the invoice in QuickBooks and I charge the sales tax, and then every month I go and I send my money to the state, of the sales tax that I've collected from my sales. So that is really, really important how you're going to process your payments. Okay. Some people will say, well, I'll pay you in cash. The next thing you know, they show up, they ain't got no cash, and then they want to take their items home and they ain't paid for them, and they pay half. And then when it comes to the next thing you know, it's like that girl that called me up so upset saying, I only got paid half, and that's a big loss because it was, you're talking about a lot of things. I mean, and her order was big. It was 50 shirts. She embroidered 50 shirts and she only got half the money. It's just do invoices, do the invoices, you know. I'm telling you, people always want something for nothing. They really do. And, but the thing is, people will only get away with what you allow. So you're really going to have to, you got to be tough. You got to be confident in yourself, in your business. You got to have your processes in place, and don't deviate from them. Do not deviate from them, because you don't want to put yourself in a bind. You want to continue to do what you enjoy doing. You don't want to feel like you got suckered. You really don't. You know what I'm saying? um and you're gonna meet people that are gonna try to do stuff, and you're gonna be like, oh no, we don't work that way. I mean, I have no problem telling people I don't feel comfortable taking this order. That's it. I just tell people I don't feel comfortable taking the order, and I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. And if they get pissed off, so let them get mad. Let them get mad. That's their problem. It's not yours. Okay, it's not yours. It's not a problem for you to own. Okay, what you own is your business, and you're there to run a successful business, something that you enjoy doing. Don't allow, not every customer is a good customer. Okay, not every order is a good order. All right. So you want to make sure that you work with people that you enjoy working with. You want to make sure that you work on orders that you have fun doing. You don't have to take every order. If you see that there's an order that comes your way and it's like too complex, and it's like, I'm not gonna, turn it down. Turn it down. Don't why? For a couple of bucks. Unless you really need it to feed yourself and pay your rent or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Then don't. Just do what you enjoy doing, and make sure that you're going to be okay at the end. You know what I'm saying? So, that is what I have for this segment, okay? Is really talking about the issues that you can have with customers regarding, number one, pricing, which I took a long time talking about the pricing, because there's a lot to cover in the pricing. Okay. Pricing is very different for everybody. Okay. It's not the same for everyone. Okay. Timing, those rush orders. Okay. That was the second one that I covered. So I got pricing, I got timing, and requirements and expectations. Okay, you can have issues with customers with requirements and expectation as well. Okay, so just got to make sure you cover yourself for that. Okay, and then also the last one was payments, which payments is really a big thing too. Okay, I should put that as number 2. Okay, because the last thing you want is to be working and then all of a sudden you don't get paid. That sucks big time. That sucks big time. It sucks because one or two things are going to happen. Okay. Either you're just going to let it go, and you're just going to have to probably take it as a lessons learned, but it's going to eat you alive. It sucks. Or you're going to do like how I usually react. I get mad. And when I get mad, we're going to court. We are going to, I have no problem doing that. Nothing. No problem about, nope. Especially when I got all my documentation in a row. And that's the other thing too. Make sure you have good documentation. Okay. Make sure that you are invoicing a must. Okay. Make sure that you are invoicing, because your invoice kind of serves as a contract. Okay. You're letting the customer know that you're providing this service for this amount of money. And in your invoice, I even put a little note in there. Okay, I even put a note. Services do not begin until full payment is received. Well, what is that I put? Okay, once that's what I say. Once full payment is received, orders will be processed. That's the sentence that I put in there. Once full payment is received, orders will be processed. That's it. There's nothing to negotiate. Nothing. And I've had some that say, hey, can I pay half? No. No. I don't allow it. No. Don't do it. Mm-mm. Don't open the door for problems. Just don't. Don't do it. There's a reason for it. Just don't do it. Don't do it, guys. So anyway, guys, that is the embroidery happy hour for this Friday. Okay, September 15th. And like I said, I am so sorry. If I am hoping that I can make it so that I can join you guys in the chat, okay? But if not, I did not want to leave one Friday without spending it with you. Even though it kind of sucks because I really enjoy doing them live because I love interacting with you guys in the chat. So hopefully when you guys are watching this video, I am actually in the chat with you. Okay. But if not, at least you guys got the topic of the week. Okay. So, and thank you so much also, everybody, for the patience that you guys showed me last week. Last week was a mess. We we had some huge storms that came in my area. I thought it was just going to be a little bit of rain, but we ended up with a lot of hail, and we lost power, and I could not for the life of me find connectivity. So I had to actually do the happy hour in the car, and I was watching it, and I kind of noticed that, man, it was really dark in there. All you guys did was hear my voice, but you guys hung in there, and I know I got a lot of thumbs down, but hey, I expected that. I mean, it was bad quality video. I mean, so I don't blame you guys. I would have thumb downed it too, but it is what it is, and stuff. So I did the best. Also, just a couple of announcements before I go. I will be hosting the third annual gift exchange. I plan on opening the doors to that in sometime around, I believe, October. I think I'm going to do it at the end of October. The gifts will be due around probably the second week of December to be mailed out to everybody. Just want to let you guys know that that's going to be happening. So just, be aware of that. And let me see what else I have. Oh, we have the sewing and quilt show that is coming up at the end of this month, and I am excited about that as well. I'm taking all Serger classes, so I can't wait for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm hoping to meet some of you guys on Friday if you do go. I will post on Facebook where we're going to meet and all that stuff as we get closer. Okay, as that way I'll know exactly where's a good spot for everybody to meet. And I think that's about it. So guys, next weekend, which will be, let me look at the calendar here. The month. Okay. So the next embroidery happy hour will be on the 22nd. So hopefully my life will be back to normal, and I will be at home on Friday in my sewing room, spending it with you guys. So guys, you guys take care. And like I said, thank you so much for all the support. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you like the channel and you like what I do, please consider subscribing, and also share my videos with other people as well if they want to join in. I mean, I think this is a lot of fun. I enjoy what I do. I love teaching. And also, totally forgot, I will be having a series come out in the month of December, a little treat for all the subscribers. So just want to let you know. Okay, so I'm going to have a series of videos that are going to be coming out soon. I am working on those, and I am actually working on the third one. It's going to be a series of 12 videos for Christmas time. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that as well. So yeah, so let me say bye now because I have to get ready and meet with family and stuff like that. So you guys have a good night. Have a great Friday. Hopefully I'm in the chat. If not, believe me, I'll be thinking of you guys. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye. Happy sewing and happy embroidery. Bye.